Perfect. Everyone wants to do what they did last week and then maybe tell me something that you're looking forward to by messaging me for roll call.
Perfect. So message Ariel, and she'll get that done. And let's do the invocation next. Can I have a volunteer to read out the invocation, please? Sam, would you like to lead us?
Yeah, I can read it. May we, the Student Senate, have the wisdom, patience, and guidance to be responsible representatives. May we be fair in judgments, enlightened in our discussions, and ethical in our actions. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Thank you, Sam. We'll talk a little bit more about this later when Cassidy comes on. But Cassidy, would you like to lead us in the land acknowledgement statement, especially considering Monday was Indigenous Peoples Day?
Yes, of course. So this is the land acknowledgement for the official one for Santa Clara University. We pause to acknowledge that Santa Clara University sits on the land of the Ohlone and Wekma Ohlone people who trace their ancestry through the Mission Dolores, Santa Clara, and San Jose. We remember their connection to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to live, work, learn, and pray on their traditional homeland. Let us take a moment of silence to pay respect to their elders and all Ohlone people of the past and present.
Thank you, Cassidy.
Thank you.
We can move on to the approval of the agenda. We have it's a decent amount. We'll first start off with Izzy. She's going to be appointed on, and I don't remember the specific name of it, so I've just vaguely been calling the Ciocca Center, but I think it's the
Ciocca Coke Oversight Committee.
Oversight Committee, yes, thank you. So we'll appoint her for that, and then Cole and Ariel will do a quick presentation on Santa Clara Splash. Cassidy will come in and talk about the land acknowledgement standing rules change or the proposed change. Robbie, I might need some help in terms of, like, from what I know, I don't think it's necessarily the same. It's not the same as a bylaw change. I don't think we need a vote, like a roll call vote. I think it's more like a little bit unofficial, but if you could clarify that for me later, that'd be great. And then CEC, or our Campus Engagement Committee, will lead us through we'll present the Prop 16 endorsement. And then Carmen and SAC will present all the funding requests that they have went through this weekend or this week, and basically give us a summary of how much money has been allocated. And yeah, if that sounds good, can I please get an approval of the agenda?
Second.
I didn't hear any of that. Wait, sorry. I think Sam seconded. Who motioned?
Me, Meg.
Thanks, Meg. Motion from Meg, second from Sam. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Perfect. Let's move on to the approval of the previous minutes. To start off, does anyone have any comments, questions about minutes from last week? I'm going to share my screen. Here is the minutes from last week. If that looks good, can I please get a motion to approve previous minutes?
Motion to approve previous minutes.
Motion from Cassidy.
Talk about.
Second from Emma. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Perfect. The minutes have been approved. Let's move on to special order of business. Let's start with Izzy Dach's for the Ciocca Center / Coke thingy oversight committee. And take it away.
Yeah, Izzy would be a great fit for this committee. So very excited that she's into it. I think, it's the same approval standard, right, that we do?
I don't think we have to confirm them, but could you talk a little bit about what the oversight committee is?
Yeah, so basically the biggest things with the committee is that when there was a huge donation, I think it was 2 years ago, the donation was coupled with a gift from the Koch Foundation. And the Koch Foundation can be a problematic organization. So a lot of students were upset about that, and faculty as well. So then this committee was made, and they had an ASG rep on it last year as well, basically to make sure that there's no influence of the Koch Foundation on Santa Clara campus, kind of like to keep the integrity of the gift. So they meet quarterly. Yeah. Does anyone have questions on that?
Yeah, Izzy, do you want to talk about what you hope to achieve, I guess, in this position?
Hi, yeah. So this was just super recently brought to my attention. And the main reason why I think this is super interesting is because I just really want to get involved in student government in any way that I can. And I think that I can bring organization to this committee and a determination, because I think that I know that it can be controversial, but I also think that it can be a really good thing. So I think that taking something that's a little iffy and just making it for the best of our school. So that's what I wanted to do.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions for Izzy? If
I
not,
think Abby has a question.
Abby, sorry.
Izzy, could you talk a little bit about what you know about the Koch Foundation and what concerns you have, or kind of your understanding of why this oversight committee is needed?
Hi, sorry, I'm just moving rooms. So many roommates. But yeah, so I actually don't know a ton. I was just talking to Anne, and then I reached out to Theo about it to learn a little bit more. And I heard that it was controversial just because of some of the views and where they wanted the money to go. And so that's kind of just like the quick rundown that I got. I'd love to receive more information and get more invested on it. This just came to my attention like 2 or 3 days ago. But I've looked over the documents and read all that, and I know that's controversial. I just still think it could be for the good of our school.
Can I follow up, Justin?
Go for it.
Okay, yeah. So just to highlight a few main things, the Koch Foundation is super anti sustainability, and in the past they've given money to schools and not allowed them to divest and had them adopt really poor policies. And so the Santa Clara's divestment movement and environmental movements are really upset by this donation. And then also in the past, the Koch Foundation has donated to schools and then had specific requirements about hiring professors, and they had to hire conservative professors that had the same ideals as the Koch Foundation. And then granted, with this money, they didn't have any of those ties. That came out really, really clear. So the point of this whole committee is to just make sure that no ties, none of those regulations get slipped in somewhere. I guess kind of with that in mind, the conservative ethics and also the climate change stuff, do you have specific response to that?
Sorry, it's totally cutting in and out because of the Wi-Fi. But that's something that I didn't know, and I definitely want to know more about. And I think that is a super tough issue to begin to solve, or to even, that's why we need a committee about it, which I would love to be a part of, because no one should be a climate change denier or require that certain professors be hired.
Are there any other questions? If not, Cole, can you make that breakout room?
Justin, I can't figure out how to just put.
Can you make me a
Do you want
co-host?
to?
Let me see if I can try doing it.
I can always just like join again later.
Wait, let me put
Honestly,
you in the waiting room, Izzy.
Sounds good.
okay, I think, no, she's still here.
I can just leave and come back.
Okay, I guess
She's
I guess
gone.
people can
She's
text you
gone.
when they come back. All right,
I can just admit her
okay.
when we're.
So let's pause the recording. Let's pause the agenda, which is Santa Clara Splash. Cole and Meg, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, Meg, there we go. Also, Justin, since you're a host now, you have to do the Facebook Live.
Cole, do you want me to start, or would you like to start?
Yeah. Do you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah, sure. I got you.
Yeah. So, welcome to Santa Clara Splash. I'm sure if you were anywhere near campus last year, you've heard about us because we were really annoying with all of the advertising, and all of our stickers. But basically, last year, Justin had the brilliant idea to bring Splash to Santa Clara, which is basically where high school students from the area can come take classes at whatever college the Splash is located at. So here at Santa Clara, Justin wanted to do 1,000 students on campus, taught by around 200 students from Santa Clara. And basically what we did was we planned out the whole event, and then it got canceled because of COVID. But Meg, do you want to move on?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so basically the reason why, and Justin talked about this a little when he was proposing Splash last year, but basically there are a lot of like elite schools that have branches of Splash, such as like MIT, Stanford. Some of you guys may have attended their Splash events. So we kind of just want to bring one to SCU to kind of like advertise that as an opportunity and also get people excited about potentially applying to Santa Clara University as a college student.
And who's involved with Splash? So we have the Ciocca Center, the LEAD program, Levy, School of Engineering, Arts and Sciences. Basically, last year we worked with all of these different organizations on campus, and we secured funding from many of them. And you'll see on another slide, we raised around like $3,200 to $3,500, I think, from organizations. We especially worked with undergraduate admission. They're our main source of marketing to students, to get students to come to campus and actually take classes at Splash. So we have a very strong relationship with them, and we're excited to work with them again this year.
Okay, so sorry, before I go any further, so just to clarify, Cole and I are co-presidents of Splash this year.
Yes.
And we just kind of wanted to like show this to you guys again, just so you can kind of get a feel for like how we're changing it, how we're kind of adjusting our potential like needs due to COVID and stuff like that. But yeah, so like Cole mentioned, last year we got about over $3,200 of funding. We also worked with a lot of RSOs and CSOs on campus to just kind of reach out to them and like publicize the event. We were also able to have like an event which was kind of like a teacher interest event. So a lot of SCU students came and like and like watched a presentation to understand like what their responsibilities would be and what like being a teacher for the Splash event would look like. So yeah, we got a lot of responses on the teacher recruitment form, and we also had over 100 students signed up, which was kind of unfortunate that we had to end up canceling the event. But yeah, so we definitely made a lot of progress last year already, and we're hoping to expand on that this year.
And Splash's impact on Santa Clara and ASG. Do you want to go to the next slide, Meg, too?
Wait.
Oh, where'd it go?
Oh,
there we go. Okay, yeah, basically spreading Santa Clara's mission, education for the mind, body, spirit. When people come to Splash, they get to experience Santa Clara, the whole campus. We'll probably have a few classes, admissions probably will, like hold classes on what it's like at Santa Clara, kind of give an admissions standpoint. And we also want to unite RSOs, CSOs under a common sense of purpose. A lot of RSOs and CSOs signed up to for Splash to teach classes on kind of what their RSO is about, which we thought was really cool. We really reached out to them and created a great relationship. And then another one of the strong things that we did last year, we worked a lot with a lot of different administration, and it really created different avenues that we didn't already have. We worked a lot with Chris Shea, with Ted, with Eva Blanco Macias of undergraduate admission. Do you want to go back?
Sorry.
And yeah, so especially if you're one of the people working on Splash, you get to have these conversations with admin that you might not already have. And it really creates a lot of opportunities for both you, for Splash, and for Santa Clara.
Okay, sorry. So right now, just to like kind of give you guys an update. So this year, Cole and I really wanted to restructure the exec team and how admin for Splash would work. So we kind of talked, and we're kind of mimicking the setup of Senate. So having 4 committee chairs, which is going to be marketing, finance, outreach, and logistics. And then like also having obviously like committee members under those chairs, like I said, very similar to Senate. And we've been publicizing like a Google form where people can apply to either be a committee chair or a committee member. So if you are interested, or if you know anyone who is interested, please let us know. Cole, if you maybe like want to put the link to the form in the chat, that would be awesome.
Yes.
But basically, Cole and I want to be realistic, and the fact that this fall we are all online, it's very difficult to know where we're going to be in the spring when the event would be, whether that can be in person or it's going to have to be online. So right now what we're doing is we're just spending this quarter to kind of solidify our executive team and make sure that we have a group of people that are very passionate about the cause and are like ready to work, given the fact that maybe we can go back in the winter. But if not, winter, I would say, is when we're going to start doing real work of like actually trying to plan the event. So right now it's all just like recruitment of executive members.
Yeah, and even if you're not interested in becoming a committee chair or even a committee member, we're looking for teachers, volunteers in the day of. And yeah, we're really excited, and we hope you are too.
Yeah, so this slide is just kind of like reiterating what we said. But yeah, it would be really amazing if we could get all your guys' help kind of publicizing this. So yeah, I don't have anything else to add if you don't, Cole. All right, well.
Thanks, Cole and Meg. I'm just gonna chime in just because this was my little baby last year. Splash was honestly like probably like the epitome of like everything I worked on last year, and unfortunately, obviously, it didn't work because of COVID-19. And I really do hope that Meg and Cole will be able to continue this throughout this next school year, hopefully in the spring in person. Fingers crossed. But I feel like there's so much you can learn from this experience in terms of like I met with over a dozen admin people, and Splash like honestly like was on track to be super successful. Like we already had 300 students, we already had 70 teachers, like we had almost everything we needed, and like all we need right now is just people to help run it again. So if you're interested, like please do reach out, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to them or me. And yeah, let's move on to the next. Does anyone have any questions, by the way?
Can I just make a quick comment?
Go for it.
Yeah, so obviously because of COVID, Splash, the whole planning phase last year didn't get put into action, but overall, great job, Megan Cole. I think it's a really great way to bring different campus organizations together in a way that brings a really great and like a truly unique educational opportunity for students, and it's a promotional opportunity for us. So I'd encourage, some volunteers for teaching and any opportunities to get involved. It's a really great project.
Thanks, Christina. Let's move on to the land acknowledgement standing rules change. Cassidy, I can share my screen because I think you're on your iPad.
Thank you. Yeah, if you could share your screen. I guess I'll start talking a little bit about the standing rules change that I'm proposing. And so the standing rules are what have basically tell how we do the like invocation and all of that stuff. So what I'm doing is focusing only on rule 2. And it's basically putting into writing that I want that we say a land acknowledgement at the beginning of every Senate meeting. I think that with Native American Awareness Month coming up in November, and of course this Monday was Native American or Indigenous Peoples Remembrance Day. And so I think it's really important, even in a virtual setting, to remember and acknowledge that we are benefiting from the Ohlone people's lands as we are student leaders of Santa Clara University. And just to be reminded of that and to be mindful of that in our advocacy, I think is really important. And then of course, when we transition back on campus, that we very literally will be in the Ohlone lands while we hold our Senate meetings. So I think it's really important as student leaders that we acknowledge the land for every Senate meeting. And so that's the first part, is just putting into the standing rules that every Senate meeting we say the land acknowledgement. And then the second part is both with the virtual aspect, is because we are virtual right now, each one of us is across America and maybe across the United States. And we are occupying different traditional Indigenous lands. And so while we're in the virtual space of being able to include the different local Indigenous tribes. And so there would be a slide that would include our locations in the Indigenous tribes. And when that eventually transitions back to in-person, we could include a slide for the Indigenous tribes from our hometowns, just so that we're staying mindful of the land in which we occupy. That's mostly all that I have. You can read the addition there. So we kind of had the test run today. It didn't take up too much extra time. So if anyone has any questions, let me know.
Yeah, the floor is open. If there aren't any comments, questions, or concerns, I'll just talk about the process for this. So this is the Senate standing rules. This is separate from the bylaws. Like the standing rules is a separate document. And in order to approve this change, we're going to need 2/3 majority vote. But first we're gonna need to have someone suspend the standing rules about voting on the same week. And yeah, I would entertain a motion to suspend the standing rules for this week, or that specific standing rule about voting on the same week. I think I heard someone unmute, but then they're muted again.
Well, am I able to make the motion for my own standing rule? Or no?
I'd rather not.
Okay.
There are a lot of other things.
Motion for the standing rule. Yeah.
Wait, say that again.
Sorry, motion to. Sorry, can you repeat it?
Sorry, Marios, I'm putting you on the spot. Motion to suspend.
Oh yeah. Motion to suspend the voting rule of voting twice in 1 week.
Or voting
the same law in one.
I second the motion.
Motion from Marielle, second from Emma. Perfect. Now I would entertain a motion to vote.
I move to vote.
Motion from Carmen.
Second.
Second from Melanie. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Perfect. We are now going to vote. If you are in favor of this amendment to the standing rules, please raise your hand. Thank you all. I will now lower all hands. And if you are against this amendment to the standing rules, please raise your hand. I saw that someone raised their hand, but then unraised it. I don't know if that was intentional.
That was by accident. I raised my hand the first time.
Just making sure. Perfect. The standing rule amendment has passed. This will now be a permanent fixture within Senate. Thank you, Cassidy. Let's go back. Oh, no, that's not it. Now let's move on to new business. Hawad and CEC.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I just want to start by apologizing that we did not get this statement of endorsement for Prop 16 out in the email in Justin's, let alone one ahead of time, but we'll definitely share it tonight after the fact. At the same time, it is not very long. It's very simple, and we have already had our discussion and debate. So as you all know, this statement of endorsement is something more of a formality, but given the permission to share screen, I would be happy to do so for your brief viewership and for any comments from my fellow CEC committee members, Annika and KJ and Zakia and Emma. All right, I think I can do that. So like I mentioned, this is a brief statement of support for Proposition 16. As a reminder, I know you probably consume a lot of information. This proposition would revoke the ban on affirmative action in the state of California. We are one of 9 states which currently has that ban. We did our best as an ASG to entertain and do research on the side of the opposition, including inviting them. We had Helen Casa, former member of our ranks, come and speak to us about this. It is my belief and that of my fellow committee members that not only is Proposition 16 important for equity, equal opportunity for women and people of color, but also that we can set a very positive precedent for our student senate to advocate on civic issues and issues of, governmental and political importance. So that being said, I would defer to any fellow CEC members for any comments. And if there are none, I will conclude our presentation of the statement, and I will link it as a Google document for your viewership in these coming moments.
Yeah, I just have a quick question / comment. First of all, I don't know who made those signatures. I don't know if you all hand wrote that, but they're so pretty. There's no way they're all handwritten. I don't believe it, but they're so pretty. But second, more importantly, I'm not really sure what the procedure around endorsements for local propositions are, because it was voted upon by all of Senate. Should there also, like I saw that there were 5 signatures from everyone in CEC, but is that something that all of us would also sign, or is that something that, because the committee wrote it, it would just be your signatures? And I think this might be a question that I might have to defer to Robbie to answer. Robbie? I think Robbie's in another meeting. But I don't know, Hua, do you have any opinions or anything for that?
Yeah, Justin, it's a very keen observation. I would say not only for simplicity, but also seemingly like from a technical standpoint, that if it's a resolution of endorsement, that it be signed by the authors and then passed by the Senate. So in that way, it would not need to technically have signatures on the physical document of the entirety of the group. But I will defer to Robbie, who seems to be off his Xbox. Just a joke.
Hey y'all, sorry, I'm having issues with the internet over here. What was the question?
The question is, so this is because we discussed and voted on the endorsement of the proposition before any formal document was actually released. Now my question is, the authors of this endorsement, like whose signatures should be there? Like I don't mind it just being CECs. Like I don't really have a preference, but seeing as we all passed and voted on it.
It's up to you guys, whatever you want to do with that. That really isn't terribly relevant to what passes it. If you want to go the way that, like governments do it, you'd sign the people that like were the authors of it. If you want to do everyone signs it, like that's totally on you. It really doesn't matter too much though.
Perfect. So I think we can keep it as is, but Annika, it seems like you were ready to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say we could also just add a clause that said that we voted on it in Senate, and that would be a simple fix for that.
Just get that document out. Sorry, I'm jumping back. And just get that document out ASAP, especially since you passed it. You want to have that document shown and read so that everyone knows what the document says.
Yeah. So, Ciara, do you want to comment on that, or I could just?
Just like from an outsider perspective, if someone looks at a resolution, I just think that because this is an endorsement, I think it's different than a resolution, and therefore having 5 names, although like you all should deserve the credit for drafting it, I think there needs to be clarity that like we as an organization are endorsing this versus like 5 members of ESG, just for like clarity's sake, because I think it'll hold more weight. But that's like a quick little thing.
Yeah, and Juan, as you mentioned earlier, this is at the end of the day technically a formality because we already voted on this last week. But if you could take the advice changes of just making sure that it's clear that all of ASG endorse this.
Yeah, no problem. Y'all aren't getting those pretty e-signatures though. Just type names.
But yeah, you can handle it however you want. But if there are any more questions or comments, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which we're not going to do the SAC fall funding presentation anymore because we're already running over time. Carmen and her committee can present on that next week. So let's move on to exec updates. ComDev.
Hello. Yeah, so, this Tuesday we had our COVID educated pandemic program. And we had a pretty good turnout, around 40 houses, 40 people came out. So that was really good compared to what we do in person. So really congratulations to Catherine Will. Do a shout out on the ASG Slack. And then moving forward, we want to get even more houses to come, make sure people are well informed, especially as, we have different regulations and rules moving forward. I don't know how winter core is going to look, but depending on how it is, there might be some adjustments. Additionally, so Will actually has this really cool idea coming called Love Your Neighbors. So essentially we wanted to have neighbors get like cute notes and like a little gift from SU students to help improve those relationships. Of course, with COVID, we made sure that there's safety rules. Neighborhood ambassadors will be the ones to drop off the gifts and the notes. So don't worry about that. But yeah, we're planning on doing it the week before Halloween. So if there's any kids in the neighborhood areas, they can get some nice candy in lieu of the typical Halloween traditions. And then, so that's coming up. We'll have more information about this. Will and I are currently working on it. So do look out for it and make sure to spread the word. And then lastly, so for voter registration drives, with Juan and Robbie, we're actually trying to plan a local candidate debate. This candidate will be for SU specific district. Juan, please feel free to tag in for this. And we're trying to have students interested in hearing about, important issues in this area that will affect them down the road. Additionally, Izzy and Frida, they've helped out with flyers, especially shout out to Izzy for setting those up. And we should get them to MCCs and RSO soon. Thank you so much to Carmen and Diego for helping out with that. And then also please join my GIF. Cheers.
I also do want to add on to what he just said. I think we're planning on purchasing 2,500 masks to distribute to the local community. So if you guys have an opinion on the design, Yash, I don't know if you can plug the design in the ASG official chat, but we're probably gonna order that sooner rather than later. But yeah, let's move on to the next slide, judicial.
Hey y'all, not much up for us. Shout out to the Lakers for winning the finals. That was pretty sick at KJ. Bylaws are coming out pretty soon. Changes come to us with any of those. Reiterating what Yash is talking about, we're hoping to have the event on Sunday. Stay tuned on that. The big thing I have is show up to bonding tomorrow if you want to come hang out. Would love to hang out with y'all. Yeah, see you guys there.
Hi. So this week is first year elections. Strength in numbers, but for this week, it's strengthened the very strong two candidates. They are shining stars, and I think there is something worth noting about being bold enough to run for a first year election. Put yourself out there when you are at home. So that's a very good sign. Even though there's only two, I feel they're great people. So it's been going very well. Nothing crazy's happened this week. Election day is Monday. So Monday, late night Monday, we'll know who the first year senators are. I would love to do some kind of like fun way to congratulate them by, I don't know if we can send them anything, but if we could just, I can send out a flyer this week for everyone to sign, I don't know, we can get like e-signatures on or something, just to like really, obviously this is going to be weird, but something to make them feel like excited and welcomed right off the bat. And then they will be at Senate on Thursday night. So to be confirmed. So if anyone has ideas about what we can do for them on Monday night, just shoot me a Slack, a text, an email, anything you want. Turn week is tomorrow. You'll hear more about turn event is tomorrow. You'll hear more about it from Ciocca. But if you want to come to turn event at 1:00, you can find us there. Diversity training. I sent out a Google Calendar invite over a month ago. I'm going to send it out again tomorrow. But if you're trying to beat that reminder, then just go ahead and RSVP tonight, please. We have a little bit over half of the members have responded to it, and it is mandatory, but it's also going to be very informative and a really good thing for us to all go through. So please respond to that. And I just think, like tonight, there was really, really good discussion about this committee, and that's like really strong discourse that I really am excited about seeing more of from Senate this year. So if anything comes up, if you have any questions about anything related to this committee, any other committee, non-committee related stuff, please reach out. I really want to make sure I'm engaging with you all as well. And I'm always can chat. And then we're trying to do like a airtime with admin is what we're going to call it. And we'll have Jeannie Kloppenberg and Father O'Brien all on like an open forum call for students to come. We're thinking early November, but I sent the date to Jeannie, so I'm just waiting to hear back on that. Open to all students. We can accept questions ahead of time during like a live thing as well. We just really want to make admin more accessible to all students so they can have more conversations and have a lot of questions answered. So that is what I am working on right now.
Thank you, Em.
Hi, folks. Lots of stuff tomorrow. Board of Trustees presentation tomorrow morning. I'm currently writing my little spiel, but a few things I wanted to include, whereas the prison industrial complex divestment, which we're still working through, AWC, all the great work Abby and the rest of SCAP is doing to like highlight, what's going on, and kind of bring light to the situation to, I feel like, a group of people that typically seem so inaccessible, but it'll be a really cool opportunity to voice that. And then also Res Life I put this in the Senate Slack, but as of today, like Stanford already made some moves regarding depolicing their own res life in regards to mental health calls and allowing EMS to directly transport these students rather than having campus safety involved. And like I said last Senate, USF is in a similar position. So I think these are really cool examples of things that we could be doing. And I guess, Justin, I'll just bring this up. Like we had a our first student affairs policy committee meeting today with the one that Angel Macias and Kaylin Chase are also on. And so that was like a really good conversation to start the initial, discussion about res life and what that really looks like. And so everyone on the committee seems really interested in it. So I really encourage the senators that we're pursuing that for us to chat a little bit more about that so that next student affairs meeting, we can actually talk about it more in depth. Also, turn event tomorrow at 1 p.m. It's going to be really good. Hopefully, we're hoping that a lot of students come because like it's supposed to be a discussion of basically like where SU has failed, like where SU needs to improve, but also just like generally what we need to do as like college students that are going to go out into the real world soon at some point. And like, what does that look like regarding the climate crisis and like taking it seriously? And so we're really excited about that, but we also want people to come because our CAPS event didn't really have much attendance. And I know a lot of events recently virtually have struggled. And then go to bonding at 5:30. I know it's been really hard for all of us to like come together, and I really don't want ASG to be lame this year, but virtually things are just so much harder. So we really hope that you show up tomorrow, and Robbie will be planning a really fun time. And then lastly, please check Slack like once a day, please. Thanks, Elena. Because I just feel like a lot of exec and even Senate exec are putting out important info, and I just feel like there's not enough activity on Slack, even when there's like major polls asking about like what color mask. Like I really expect a majority of you to be, you know, voicing your opinions on like what mask color, like even like the littlest things, because I really want voices from the entire org. And like Anne said, like with the Koch Foundation, like committee, there's a lot of things that like we're putting out there, and we want to be able to hear your concerns instead of coming and then being like having to be reactive to a certain situation. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, that is it from me. See you all tomorrow at some point, hopefully.
Yeah, adding on to what Ciara said about the SAC, or the Student Affairs Committee, the UBC committee meeting this morning, Erin Camara Walsh, our fearless lead scholars leader, she brought up two specific points. One that I know that Zakia has already brought up in the Slack, which is that everyone will get kicked out on November 21st. So after week 9, they won't be able to come back all the way into winter quarter, and that is an issue. I don't know how much Zakia, I don't know how deep you're into that project, or if you want to pursue that project, but we're going to be talking about this again November 5th. But in relation to that, I think it'd be helpful if maybe you wrote a resolution of some kind. And then second, she also brought up the emergency fund and the CARES Act fund. The CARES Act fund took 6 weeks in total, and the emergency fund is taking 3 weeks, and it's not really much of an emergency fund if it takes 3 weeks to get the funds. So if someone wants to tackle that too, reach out to Erin. Like this, you don't have to be a first-year student. This is everyone is affected by this thing. And yeah. Also, I just realized that we actually should do the SAC fall funding presentation today, because this isn't a formality. It's something we actually all have to vote on. And if we don't vote on it tonight, then RSOs won't get their money for another week. So Carmen, if you could please share your screens.
Wait, Justin, can you stop sharing yours? Perfect. Sorry, guys, this is gonna be really quick. Ted just enlightened us like at the right time. So since we passed the new bylaws last week, we need to make sure that so all of Senate does have to approve. So can you guys see my screen? Yes, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go real quick. So we had about 83 requests And so we have gone over 73 of them. So SAC is actually meeting after Senate for a couple minutes to go over these last few requests. So we kind of split up in 4 categories. Apparel, we can only fund 50%. Registration, we can only fund 50%. And then subscriptions for like online platforms was the other category. And then also supplies and other. And so a lot of RSOs are doing like care packages to keep their members engaged. And so basically I kind of split it up evenly. So we have 91,500. So for each quarter we would do 3,500. And so far we have allocated, it says almost 12,000. I think by the end of tonight it's going to be closer to $13,000 dollars for the fall quarter. And then RSOs are supposed to receive their NOLs by Sunday night. So that's going to be like our SAC deadline, just to make sure that RSOs can start purchasing their material. And so we're going to have about 17,000 left for the rest of the quarter. And so with this quarter, we want to make sure that this is accessible to RSOs as well, just to kind of have more transparency, since there was a lot of transparency as to how SAC functioned in the past. So we definitely want to clear that, and with Senate as well. So yeah, that's basically it. And then, is there anything else we should add, Justin? Any
No.
questions, concerns, comments from you guys?
That looks really good. Does anyone have any questions? This is actually like quite a big request. Like technically we're allocating like $8,000. No, we're allocating 20. Wait.
Right now we're going to be about, it says almost 12,000, but by the end of it's going to be 13,000.
I wasn't sure which one it was. $11,000 for the year. And this is going to have to be a white ballot unless we want to do all 81 individually. But yeah. Since we already suspended the standing rules, if this all looks good to go, can we please get a motion to white ballot?
Motion to white ballot.
Motion from Meg.
Second.
Second from Cassidy. All in favor?
Wait, I'm not Meg, but.
Oh, sorry. Wait, who was that?
I'm Emma, but.
Emma, sorry, so sorry. Oh my goodness.
It's okay. It's all right. I just wanted to make sure you didn't think my name was Meg.
No. Sorry. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
If you could raise your hand to signify that you are for the white ballot. Amazing. Please raise your hand if you are against the white ballot. Perfect. We will be white balloting all of the SAC funding requests. Can I please get a motion to vote?
Motion to vote.
Motion from Angel.
Second.
Second from Emma. No, Cassidy. Wait, I think I heard Cassidy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Perfect. We will now vote on these funding requests. Raise your hand if you are for, if you want to approve the SAC funding requests for the fall. I will now lower all hands. Please raise your hand if you're against approving these funding requests. Perfect. It now passes. So yeah, great. Thank you, SAC. Thank you for getting through all 81 of those in like a week or 2 weeks. For those who haven't been on Senate in the past, this normally would have been stretched out amongst like 6-7 weeks. So we saved a lot of time. So thank you again, SAC, for doing all of that in like a week or two. So I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. Announcements. Center of the week. Oh my goodness. I forgot the slide was here. I'm kidding. I would never forget. But drum roll, please. I wish we had like a soundboard. Thank you, Annika. I appreciate it. Abby Alvarez. So seriously, Abby, like you've done so much, like literally throughout the summer. Like when you first stepped up to lead the, oh my goodness, the student safety task force. Like you've literally led it so well. You brought in so many stakeholders from every possible like area, or even like like bringing in Sean VPEs, bringing in people from Greek life, and just being able to assemble such a great team. Your work there has been tremendous, but also highlighting the fact that you raised $20,000 on honestly what kind of seemed like a whim. Like that seemed like, oh, I do that on the daily, like whatever, like I just do that. Like that was very impressive. So Abby, congratulations.
Woo! I feel like it's so awkward.
You want to say something, Abby? I don't know. She's
Thank you, much appreciated. Speaking of the Benson Worker Fund, it did just hit 20,000, and I started allocating, so that's exciting. I think I've given out 7,500 so far, and people are very appreciative. So thank you, everyone. Extra shout out to Carmen and Sam because they did like the vast majority of the Spanish calls. And as for the student safety stuff, some alum just reached out and they want to start like an SCU Me Too type thing. So the student safety, even though we focused on like the survivor advocate and it's over, like still going. So if you're interested in any of that, there are many things to be done, but I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abby. I'm going to move forward to roundtable remarks. So if anyone has anything that they want to bring up, please bring it up. First off, again, I want to commend everyone for I just feel like there was so much participation in the Senate from a lot of people who previously like haven't really spoke up, and obviously the Ciocca Center and like making sure that the money gets allocated properly is a very big deal. And I again like want to commend you guys for like being critical but also being professional about how you approached the vote. And yeah. And if you have anything else you want to say for roundtable remarks, raise your hand. Ciara, I know you want to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do Sam first because I think you're going to take a little bit. Sam? Sorry, Ciara.
Sorry, Sarah. Yeah, so on November 8th, it's actually National First Gen Day. And so I've been working on a project to kind of help bring attention to all First Gen members on board. So what this is going to look like, it'll most likely take the form of like an Instagram post. And we're thinking of doing student spotlights to highlight the roles that First Gen students have on ASG board, as well as the projects that they're working on. And we're hoping to incorporate a video getting students, recording students talking about their connection with LEAD and their experiences. So if you're a First Gen student on board and also in LEAD, I would really appreciate if you send me a message on Slack or something. That way I can keep you updated once we have all the information. But once again, we're hoping to make this post on November 8th. So I'd really appreciate if you would reach out. Thank you.
Zakia? Sorry, Ciara.
I'm so sorry, I will be quick. To go off of what Sam just said, I have been thinking about doing something with ASG and LEAD for National First Gen Day, especially because it comes so quickly after the election, and no matter what's going on, fall 2020 is kind of traumatic. So I think it would be a really cool idea. That's not to say that it has to completely be ASG. I'm not really sure what the capacity of ASG to do something like that is, but I would really like to just draw attention to the experiences of people that are first gen, because a lot of people at SCU don't know. So I was hoping to have some sort of panel or something for LEAD members or first gen students period to speak with maybe ASG members or possibly admin, but again, I don't know how that would happen. But yes, that's it. That's what I have. And if anybody has ideas or guidance, feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah. Thanks, Zakia. Cole, if you could give us a quick update on the election day resolution and what admin responds to that.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. Yeah, so we submitted the resolution and they rejected it, which is very disappointing. They said that since mail-in voting exists in California, it's not really necessary to have a holiday so people can go vote in person. I'm pretty disappointed with the outcome. Thinking about trying again, but if anyone has any ideas, comments, or wants to help out, please feel free to reach out to me or Meg. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Ifani?
Yeah, just again wanted to shout out the Fall Diversity Forum. It's happening October 28th from 5:30 to 7. We're gonna have hella administrators and stuff there, so I hope to see everyone there. Conversations such as relationship to campus safety, the effects of COVID-19, MCC funding, support of faculty and staff, and the Being Black at SU account will be there. So it would be amazing if we all show our faces there. And we're gonna send out, we love to have that on the ASG newsletter and to be promoted by ASG as well.
Thanks, Ifani. Ciara, let's get things going with retreat feedback.
This is gonna take like 5 minutes, but basically we put this off like a few senates, even though I know you all, most of you filled out the spreadsheet or the Google form regarding retreat feedback and just like what exec can do for you and like what just in general, like how we could be better as an organization and what you really need from us. And so like I wanted to just have this space, like Justin and I briefly chatted about this, like so that you could just voice any concerns or like things that you like definitely, like this is an open space, like literally all feedback, but basically from the feedback that we saw, a lot of it is just like there are a lot of new people, new faces on ASG. And because we're in a virtual setting, it's a little bit harder to get acclimated. But, you know, this is all normal. A lot of senators end up starting their fall quarter and being on Senate. And like, it takes a good couple months to like really understand what's going on. And I know it can be overwhelming and intimidating, but like Senate exec is here for you. Exec is here for you. Like if you ever have any questions or just need that like extra push and motivation, because it's really easy to get lost in everything. Justin, I don't know if you want to add to any of that.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that like, thanks for being honest with feedback specifically towards Senate. I really hope that Senate roundup email helped. I'm probably gonna that's probably gonna end up being a bi-weekly thing, something I send out every 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. But if I don't really know if like people read that. It was kind of long. But let me know if that was helpful and if there's any changes or anything specific that I should highlight. But yeah.
Yeah, just if we can open the space, if there's anything that anyone wants to bring up as like, oh, this would be like a really good thing for like ASG to do, whether it's, you know, helping our entire org and its cohesion, or like something you'd want from us better, or something relating to Slack. I can just give 20 seconds for y'all if you have any thoughts to think about that.
Also, if there's nothing you want to say now, but you think of something later, just send it over whenever. Feedback anytime is good.
I think you guys are doing really well, and honestly, like as a new senator, I can like attest to the fact that it is a little bit difficult sometimes to really get acclimated, and especially the online climate. But I think you guys are doing an awesome job. I really appreciate you, exec. Really appreciate all the committee chairs. You guys are all bomb. Thanks.
Thanks, Angel. Yeah, cool. Well, just let us know. We're always here, but we definitely want you to know that, and not that we're leaving you out to dry and in a huge organization like ASG. So thank you all. But yeah, I'll leave it with that.
Perfect. With that, can I please get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion for Carmen.
Motion to adjourn.
Uma. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you so much. I'll stay until the last person leaves.